Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Sid Meier's Civilization 6 in our 8 Ages of Khmer series. So this episode and the next two are going to be kind of interesting. If you happen to miss my announcement that I made on the channel, I'm going to link a card to it right now so you can watch it if you really want to know kind of what happened and you missed it. These next 3 episodes are actually voiceover episodes for me, because there was a freak audio accident and I had the video footage and they're good episodes. And I kind of thought about, because I've never had to do this with Civilization 6 before, I've only had to do it once before on the channel, period, and that was with The Long Dark. I remember when I was doing this, I was like, oh wait, I can build another archaeologist. What's happening here? This is awesome. So I'm going to keep cranking those out and using them as scouts. But I'm actually going to voice over this content, even though, you know, it's video that I've already recorded, because I actually thought it'd be kind of fun. I don't typically record content this way. It's a little bit different, and I was challenged by one of my regular commenters to see if I could keep up with myself. And I doubt I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try. So anyway, we are, as I was mentioning in the original recording here, we are working on this war with Alexander, and we're working on getting as much territory as we can from him as quickly as we can, because we really, again, this isn't a territorial conquest series, so it's just a matter of getting through the rest of this war as far as we want to get, really just take another 4 or 5 cities from him, and then end this. One of the reasons we want to go for Dion next, as I mentioned in the end of the last episode, is that they have the, he has the Potala Palace in Dion, so I want to make sure that I get that from him. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into moment to moment what I'm doing. This uranium is what I had set up in the previous episode as well to be mined, so that's gotten started. I think that's my first uranium. Yeah, it's my first. There we go. And still thinking about where exactly I can spawn, or I can scout with that archaeologist that's just spawned. And there are a few spots on the map. I'm going to find them in a second, I promise. But they are a little bit harder to spot, I think, when you're zoomed all the way out. The archaeologist lens that you get from the more, there they are, that you can get from the more lenses mod can be a little bit shifty. But there are, thankfully, as you can see on the other continent there, right there in Harold Hardrada's territory, there are still some dig sites to be dug up. Why he has not dug them up himself, I really have no idea. But the nice thing about archaeologists is not only can we get those from him, and we're going to send our archaeologist right there to Nidaros right now, but also, on top of that, we can use them to scout, which is what I've been doing. So anyway, we've got a builder here to assign. I don't know that there's really anything for him to do. There's some new territory that I will have soon for this builder to work on. I think just south of Alexandroupoli there is the smartest choice. Or actually, this might be the builder that I sent to Portsmouth. Yeah, there's those tiles there. There we go. So there's a food tile there that for some reason I haven't improved yet. We're going to work on that. As you can see, we've got a plane building in Portsmouth as well. So it'd be nice when we finally have a bit of an air force. Need to check for religious purity around the core area of our empire. I can see a German missionary there, actually, right, that I didn't see when I was recording this episode previously. Right there next to, was it Lingapura, our coastal city? We do need to cleanse Aigai, so I think, yep, that Inquisitor is going to go up there. And then what do we have next? Oh yes, our submarines. I'm going to give them something interesting to do in just a moment. You'll see. I've had them sitting there for a while, but there comes a point very soon where I recognize, no, that's not really what I want to do. Okay, this is our debater, I believe. Very, very strong apostle in combat, so we're going to go ahead and reduce the influence of Eastern Orthodoxy in this particular area. Eastern Orthodoxy is going to be a bitch of a religion to fight, because it's a very firmly established religion on the left side, on the west side of my continent, and we're going to have to push back hard against him in order to make any progress. As you can see, I'm using some of the faith that I've built up to train some additional units here. This is, after all, a religious victory series. Kiri, our spy. Actually, we have a couple of spies that need some orders. We have Poeyu in Majapahit. This is the capital of the Indonesians that we played as in the last series. Ha, that was a comment that I made in the original recording. I remember some of the things that I said at various points through this. Actually, at the end of this episode, funny enough, I was a terrible person and randomly taunted everyone that I was about to record the next episode, but you would have to wait until the next day to see it. I don't know what came over me, and I wasn't mean about it, but I just sort of found it funny. And then I immediately apologized, like, oh my God, I'm terrible. Like, I know you guys want to see the next episode. Why would I say that? And here I am saying it again in the re-recording of the commentary. So apparently I am a terrible person. But, all right, good. So that was an artillery, it looked like corps, or maybe even army that we took out with just Yasodharapura's siege defenses. Pretty nice there. We've got some more uranium near Nagata Jayasri that needs to be built up. We have a builder right there 3 turns away. And, oh yeah, this is where I realized that there was some uranium in the national park. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I remember looking at this going, what in the world is going to happen with this national park once I mine that uranium? Does the national park go away? Do I have maybe some new areas where I can put a national park? I'm not sure. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I can still train another naturalist and see if there's a replacement for it once we take care of that. All right, so this missionary, we're just really looking for a place to send him to die, because we get a relic when missionaries die, as you remember. And this archaeologist I would like to bring south, but Germany's units are doing a great job of completely blocking me at the moment, so we're going to wait until we go to the next turn. And I think we're turn cycling now. Yep, that was it. It is 2008 AD, moving into turn 368. Alexander is still putting up a bit of a fight. We have eliminated most of his stronger units. So he's got some mobile infantry, but they're not corps and armies anymore. They're just basic units trying to push back against my advance. Methone is going to fall, I think, in the next turn, because as you can see, that city is ready to fall. And the nice thing about Methone falling is that that city is on the far right side of Alexander's territory, and it's the city that's been kind of biting into my territory like a tooth for a long time. Oh, we just lost city-state suzerain status with someone. Who is that? Preslav. Yeah, I was pissed about that too, because that's the city-state that I freed when I defeated my best friend Victoria. And by best friend, I mean mortal enemy.
Never mind the maneuvers. Just go straight at them.
All right, so now we've got rapid deployment, which gives us the ability to transfer units between airports, and a new civic, which is military first, which gives us extra production towards atomic and information era melee and ranged units. On to a new civic research. Now, we've got a few leaf techs there, or leaf civics there that still need to be researched, but space race is what I want to go for, because there's a couple of really good policies there that can help with space projects. And once we conquer some of Alexander's cities, we will have some spaceports of our own. Thank God. 2 turns away from that builder in Nagata Jayasri, we have a Macedonian builder hanging out there for whatever stupid reason in my territory. Watch what's about to happen. This is amazing. Oh, this made me so happy. Oh, it's still fun to watch. There is, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's in the next episode, maybe 2 episodes from now, there is a moment where I genuinely let out an evil laugh. And I haven't decided yet if I'm just going to point out when it happened or if I'm going to try and recreate it, but it might be worthy of an evil laugh just watching it happen again. I won't tell you what was happening or why it happened, but it's coming. Brace yourself. All right, so Yasodharapura just finished their entertainment complex, and I think I need to do an encampment district there, because what I was just pointing out is that to the east there, Alexander actually did throw down a city. And now I have that little anti-tank unit that's about to come be trouble for like 10 turns. Ugh. But Alexander did actually throw down a city. I've been commenting on previous episodes about how the AI loves to get settlers out in the late game, but they aren't necessarily good at finding a spot to actually do anything with them. Ooh, policy decision time. I think national identity is the one that I went with. Right? Yeah, that's the one. So 50% less combat strength reduction from being injured makes it harder to stand up against Alexander's superior forces. All right, so here's the cavalry we used to capture that builder. Don't have anything to do with him right now, but plenty more units that can attack these areas around Pella. Alexandroupoli, Pella, and Methone are all in imminent danger of falling, and Alexander's armies are getting weaker and weaker. I think a move that I made earlier in the episode was to move that, if you see that level 2, it has a 1 by it, but that means it's a level 2 unit. Has 1 promotion. Machine gun to the immediate west of Aigai. I originally had them a little bit closer to Alexandroupoli, and I'm trying to keep my armies a little bit compact right now, because I still feel like Alexander would have the ability to isolate one of my more powerful units and kill it. And he has managed to eliminate some of my armies in the past few episodes, and I want to limit my losses and limit my war weariness that I incur from this. Because again, fighting a war against Alexander, you don't get any war weariness whatsoever. Or he doesn't. So he never gets tired But I think at this point is when I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to roll that machine gun up to, yep, here it is. Because now I'm feeling a little bit more confident. Fewer units in the area, and I want to go ahead and eliminate any of his units that might be getting stronger by getting into combat with me. In this tank, we can roll over to Alexandroupoli for some experience, I believe. Notice what Germany's got going on. Look to the west there. They've got some armies of their own that are starting to pile up, and we'll see more of that in the coming turns. It's something that has not been resolved in the contents that I'm going to be voicing over. So by the time I'm doing live commentary again, we'll, you know, possibly be looking at a Germany situation. But for now, you're just seeing the beginnings of it. This is interesting, doing voiceover commentary on civilization content. Like I said, the only thing I've had to do it for in the past is, okay, yeah, we're getting some experience for that tank. The only thing I've had to do it for in the past is the Long Dark content. And Long Dark content, I don't have a choice. Like, if I accidentally lose my audio in a Long Dark episode, I can't re-record that content because of the autosave system. With Civ content, I can just go back and re-record. But I don't like to do that very much either because, you know, I've done, and here's Methone falling like I thought it would. You know, I've already played through the content, and if I have to replay it, then I'll have an advantage. I'll kind of know what I need to do, and it might be less exciting, and so I opted to do the voiceover. But it is interesting doing this. I would do it more, you know, just to be different, but it takes twice as much time. So it's one of the reasons I don't. That's the only reason I don't. The only reason I need. But let's see. We've got this new guru that we want to head down to support our whatchamacallit, our apostle. And I know one of my regular commenters will be very happy to see that. Actually, just earlier today, after I posted the update about I think the content, or maybe it was before, it might have been on yesterday's episode, not, well, for you guys, 2 days ago episode, same commenter pointed out, you know, to have, you know, some gurus alongside that apostle. And I've had some other commenters point that out as well. It's not just one person, but I will finally be addressing that. So Vimeyapura already has a trade route with Sheffield, which is based on production. And I remember talking about this. I have the option of going with Kwango, which is a 3-4 route and a little bit of extra gold, or sticking with Sheffield, which is a 2-5 route. And I want to stick with Sheffield because specifically, I would like that particular city to still be a little bit more lopsided in terms of its production that it's bringing in. I don't want too much of a balance between food and production. It's a 17 pop city. It doesn't need to grow that much more. I would rather have it be highly productive. Looking for something for this builder to do. This is going to be a problem until I start to realize that I have new tiles thanks to Alexander. And I think I'm about to. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go up and start improving stuff around Methone. One thing that I will mention here, and that I did mention in this recording and the next one, I believe, I'm not doing a lot of pillaging at the moment, even though in some offline play in Civilization recently, still going to leave those submarines right there, even though in some of my offline play, I have definitely, and now we're looking for some more units to fight with these religious units, I've definitely started to discover the magic of pillaging and really going in and taking points, you know, from your enemies by pillaging their improvements and pillaging their districts. And there are policies that can make it really potent, especially in the early game, to do that. But the issue with pillaging is that it becomes less effective in the late game because the point totals stay the same, but everything is more expensive. Techs are more expensive, great people are more expensive, civics are more expensive. So the points you get for, you know, having that, for doing a we've got these battleships on the way to fire on that coastal city, I think, of Pydna. It's going to be pretty nice. But yeah, the bonuses you get from pillaging are not as great. But, you know, if you were to pillage a lot right now, you would still have to repair the territory after the fact. So I'm actually opting against pillaging right now in the game, just because I feel like I would rather take the territory swiftly and not have to repair it a lot. Not have to repair my districts, not have to rebuild my improvements and stuff like that. All right, so this is me sending the submarines over to Alexander's border. It's going to take 38 turns for them to get there. I was actually kind of regretting leaving the submarines in that harbor near where I built them, which is the harbor where Congo was hanging out for so long. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to get those submarines to a place where they can launch nukes more effectively. Notice that we're 7 turns away from guidance systems. Moving into a new turn. Indonesia has just formed an alliance with Norway. Interesting. Didn't see that in the original recording. It's amazing what you spot when you're not having to multitask. Okay. So, rocketry has been disrupted in Alexandria Troas. And also, this infantry army was promoted when they invaded Methone. So we're going to promote them. Alright, so now we're just going to steal some money, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Because maybe I'm not... No, that's right. I'm still looking for... That's right. I'm still looking for spaceports that I can wreck. But we've already wrecked them all. It looks like there's a rocket about to launch in Pydna, but that's not the case. We have wrecked their production. That's an outdated map image. Otherwise, you would see an option to disrupt rocketry when we selected Pydna a second ago, and you didn't. So, there it is. It's that simple. Alright, so Angkor Thom, we do have the option of getting some new traders. I've got room for 3 more. But also, we have some basic buildings that need to be built. And I'm a little bit behind in my civics research, so I still want to build that up a little bit as we finish the trees. I'm going to get some airports built now that we can build airports. And that will give us a core of cities. As you can see, we've got some airports building on the outside of our territory that will help us move units around in the later game a little bit faster. We can fly units around the map as opposed to moving them by land. Always fun in the late game. But yeah, there's going to be a point very soon where I recognize I need to start saving my gold because these promotions are going to be expensive. Well, not promotions, but upgrades. Because we're, like I said, 6 turns away. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be 6 turns. But we are getting close to a point where we can start upgrading these artillery to rocket artillery. And rocket artillery are more powerful, they have more range, and it's just generally amazing. Oh yeah, that's right. This is when I could have moved that observation balloon. Hadrian, move the observation balloon into Methone. Do it right now. No, Hadrian, no, don't. Okay. If I had just moved the observation balloon into the middle, after I do what I'm about to do, I would have been able to fire with all 3 of my artillery. But instead I only got to fire with the one. Well, I have 2 other artillery in the area, but I'm talking about the ones immediately surrounding Methone that would have been surrounding the observation balloon if I had put it in the right spot in the first place. I'm not bitter. Okay. Okay, so this is where I realize I've still got a few units that didn't actually join the initial battle and that are still waiting down south of the mountain range. It's just an artifact of having had so many different units. So we can fire on Pella with that unit. Starting to think about the cities that I need to take, and also realizing that Germany is starting to move some of their units in. So Germany is actually at war with Alexander right now, and kind of is taking advantage of the situation in that the city is... hang on one second. Well, that's awesome. I just realized because I'm not recording the screen, I can move my mouse around and check things. Like I can do other things right now while I'm recording. I'm not used to that. I'm used to not being able to take my focus off of the screen, but I can totally do that. I was just making sure how far I was into this episode, because I need to know roughly when to wrap up, right? That's the rough thing about doing these voiceovers. But yeah, the issue with Germany at the moment is that he's going to keep trying to be an opportunist. We're going to pillage that trade route. Haha, in your face. I got your gold. He's going to be an opportunist, and he's going to try and take advantage of the damaged cities. And I want to take Pella, but I also want to take Dion as soon as possible because of the Potala Palace. So we're going to take Alexander's capital from him for sure. We're going to do that. I think it might not be this episode, but it is the beginning of the next one. Next episode, a bunch of cities fall. It's awesome. Oh yeah, checking the Civilopedia right now to double check the exact way in which medics work. They do heal adjacent units. I haven't used medics a whole lot in Civilization 6, I'm ashamed to say. Just some habits you don't get into. Some things take longer to learn than others because of like playstyle. And so there's just, I think there's very few people that play games like Civilization or Europa Universalis or any strategy game really, and just play all the angles right away. Like Some angles come easily, and some take more time, you know? So, all right, so this artillery is going to fire on Alexandroupoli, which should prepare it for being conquered. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, this is me realizing that I can roll my infantry in after I attack with the tank. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and Alexandroupoli is going to fall right now. Which then frees up my artillery in the area to return their focus to Pella. Especially if I, you know, put my observation balloons in the right spot. Thank you very much. See, and remember, what we're doing to Alexander's cities right now, we're doing with standard artillery, not with rocket artillery. All right, so Aigai has been converted to Mahayana. Very good. We have a trader that is trading with Angkor Thom from Liverpool. We're going to keep that going because the Bolshoi theater is building there, 5 turns away from a couple of free civics, which is quite nice. We have a new spy, or maybe a spy that's just returned. Can't recall. I think this is a spy that's just returned. I just realized that because I'm not using my normal recording software, my push to mute doesn't work. So like, if I need to sneeze or if I need to yawn during I'm using just Audition to record this right now, which is the program I do my audio editing in, so it's going to sound exactly the same to you, but I'm using different software to record it, and I don't have push to mute. So, like, I'll need to make notes of noises, I guess. But anyway, so we've got those religious units moving in, trying to find units just to fight with our religious units. And finally, Germany moved that bombard, so we're going to get the archaeologist there a little bit closer to Hattusa and uncover that fog of war. Here's our favorite theme. Alexander's going to torture us with this music since we're attacking him. But this is amazing. One of the best things to do with battleships, since they have such great attack range, is just to have them sit offshore outside of cities' counterattack range and not only do damage, which is fantastic for, you know, helping move a war along, but just generally, yeah, we're gonna get that uranium for sure. Just generally get experience and level up in very safe ways. Okay, so where am I being attacked? What's happening? I think, yeah, that's right. They're attacking my artillery there. So Alexander is starting to ask for peace. He's even willing to give me Dion in addition to ceding Aigai. So he's willing to give me his city north of his capital, which would result in some decent border gore from me. But we're not going to do that. We're going to take Alexandroupoli. We're going to take Chalkidiki. Oh, yeah, I remember what happened. So I tried to move that infantry in, right? I forgot to comment on this when it happened. This is me not keeping up with myself. But I tried to move that infantry in to do what I said I was going to do with Alexandroupoli and take it in that turn. And it didn't fall. Because there's this bug with Civ 6 right now. It's a small bug, but sometimes the game will tell you that you can move to a certain space, and you trust it. And it totally did that. You know, it's when I was assessing where that infantry could attack, it said that it was possible. But when I gave the order, the infantry got stuck on Germany's bombard. And we had to wait for the bombard to move. But now he's moved. So now Germany is threatening me about his about the units on his border. Tough cookies, Germany. Tough cookies. All right, so this is the great scientist Abdus Salam, and this is when I start to get excited, because Abdus Salam, I remember when I originally recorded the episode, it didn't really process to me what was about to happen. But his bonus is he gives you every single tech boost from the industrial, or not from the industrial, but for the information era. Every single one you get. And again, when I originally recorded this episode, it didn't process for me. It just didn't click that I needed to do that. Or that was, not that I needed to do that, but that was something that would really benefit me, especially with things like these... here I am trying to point at stuff. I'm not recording the screen, but look over at the tech options. You know, I'm going to have those rocket artillery as soon as the boost kicks in. So I'm really excited about that. All right, so yeah, that's another silly thing that I did. If I had moved that builder, this is me commenting about it right now. You can see the mouse moving. If I had moved that builder in and got a Jossery instead, they get a free movement point whenever they are leaving the city when they're built. And if it helps them get across onto a spot like that uranium, they can build on it in the same turn. But I sent the builder that was outside of the city, and so they didn't get that benefit, and so now I have to wait a turn for that improvement. Shame on me. All right, so we're looking at leads and talking about what else needs to be built. I could build another spaceport or a neighborhood in the area, but I think, yeah, just another builder, because we're going to need them for the territory in the north. Not pillaging a lot, but I'm still going to need it up there in general. All right, so, yeah, we're looking at the cities, the tiles surrounding Umbumbi there, and making sure that everything is set up. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember what I was talking about here. This is actually an important point, so I want to kind of follow up with this. One thing that I have learned as a result of commenters on this series, and I really appreciate people pointing this out, because this is kind of it's kind of a nuanced thing that it's not necessary to know for sure to play the game or even play the game at a high level, but it's a kind of gameplay detail that is not implicit. You don't necessarily figure it out on your own unless someone explains it to you, or unless a very specific situation spells it out. What I was getting at by showing you those tiles is that cities can work with their citizens and get tile yields only from 3 tiles away. But one thing I've learned recently, and learned in this series with the niter mines that I've put up and stuff, is that the strategic resources, the luxury resources, and even the bonus resources in certain ways, you can still benefit from them even when they're further than 3 tiles away from a city. You can still improve those resources and get the benefits of them. We've seen that in this series, but you don't have to have them in range of your cities to get the bonuses. And that's just something that I assumed needed to be the case, and that assumption was completely wrong. So as you can see, I figured out the observation balloon needed to be in Methone, so now things are much better. And we have an observation balloon with our other artillery as well, so now all of these units are going to die, and it's going to be hilarious. But we are also closing in, I think, on the end of this episode. So, yeah, we're going to take out a few units here, and then move into the into these other cities nearby in the next episode. It's mainly Pella and Dion that need to fall. We're not going to be at this for much longer with Alexander, because again, we're playing for a religious victory. We just want to take away his potential to win the game with a science victory and kind of go from there. So Alexandroupoli could potentially fall right now. I think I might have taken it before the end of the episode just to spite Alexander, but Pella's encampment is already not a threat. We've reduced its walls. I was pointing at that a moment ago. And yeah, once Abdus-Salam kicks in the beginning of the next episode, I remember being very excited about it. We're going to get a nice bonus, but I will go ahead and stop this commentary here. Like I said, in the next one, we're going to keep working on Alexander and taking Chalkidiki, taking Pella, taking Dion. All the cities you can see from above, those 4 southernmost cities are going to be ours before long, and we're going to keep all of them in the peace deal. We're going to try to. I'm not going to spoil for you whether or not the peace deal goes through. You might have an idea based on what's happened in the series in the past. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at noon Eastern time, along with the rest of my historical and grand strategy content. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.